What's going on, guys? So this video is going to be kind of like a follow-up from a video I did a couple weeks ago about like black market supplements. Why does physical retailers continue to kind of sell those things? One of the points that I brought up in that video was around, the need for physical retailers to expand their operating margins on products because they need to offset some of the traffic loss in foot traffic or sales. And I wanted to make sure I made a point just in terms of like, what is another option to do that? I think there's a lot of retailers that maybe don't push those products. They don't sell those products just for ethical reasons or legal reasons. If they're, again, if some of these products are not legal at all, these physical retailers are still facing the same struggles, same problems on a competitive landscape perspective, and they're looking for answers as well. So I want to talk about just like private label creation, creating your own brands within your physical retailer or your internet retailer. So I'm probably going to get a lot of hate from the brand side, the branded product side of the industry, one that I work with a lot, because private label is put on the shelf to compete against the branded products. I already kind of talked about in that last video why they were so concerned with competition and not wanting to have more competition on the shelf. But I'm talking about through the lens of a physical retailer here or a internet retailer. I'm not going to necessarily talk about the branded product side of the industry. So trying to give some retailers some value here. And my suggestion, if you guys haven't already started working on private label, you should. I've had a long history with this topic. I was talking to Mark Lobliner one time about this topic at his house, and he was kind of discussing the reasoning why they started MTS Nutrition and all the reasons around starting that as like a private label for Tiger Fitness. And I was bringing up kind of points on during that same time when he was launching that product or just kind of right after it. In my consulting business, I was approaching a lot of these internet retailers and pitching them this idea of having a private label. If you are one of those internet retailers that I emailed and you still have that email, you probably read through it and laugh a little bit because of a missed opportunity. But this was long before private labels were a thing within the supplement industry. You did have a few brands that were doing this. One prominent one being First Form was a private label that was built under the Supplement Superstore's name. If we're talking about the time frame that I'm talking about 5 years ago, this wasn't a big thing. Now, flash forward 5 years from now, this is a big thing. Private label is a huge thing in our industry, not only in our industry, but every other consumer goods category has a ton of private labels. I've talked immensely about the private label activity that's happening on Amazon. So as a physical retailer, internet retailer, if you're still sitting on the sidelines and not building a private label at this point, I honestly think you are doing an injustice to your business, and hopefully you don't have investors in your business because you're doing an injustice to them as well. Private label gives you the opportunity to control your destiny. You obviously know there's a lot of things going on with the branded side of the industry. There's opportunities here and there, there's challenges, but you're always at the mercy of these branded products. Why not have your own that you can control? You're already controlling a key part of the customer experience with having a retailer. Why not be more vertically integrated to help this process be more controlled? Like I said before, private labels can help prop up and kind of create a higher blended margin against some of the competition and race to the bottom that's happening across the industry in terms of pricing. If we're talking about the kind of sports nutrition or just kind of the biggest subsection of what most supplement companies are going after, millennials are very warm to private labels. Private labels have been a big part of millennials' life because when they were coming into the job market, the recession was going on. They didn't have the budget available to buy branded products like their parents had kind of given them throughout their lives. So they had to trade down, or what they thought was trading down, into a private label. What they found out was the product was just as great, and now they're just kind of continuing with a positive thought towards private labels. It also creates an environment of having like an exclusive product or product lines at your store. This helps people stay within your ecosystem, gives them a reason to shop with you. If you're not able to acquire like exclusive brands or exclusive kind of territories of brands, if you're a physical retailer, you need to have some exclusive product offerings to give people a reason to shop with you. That's only one side of the equation. There's obviously a lot of other things you need to do to create an exclusive experience, but this is just kind of one cog in the wheel to think about. Sometimes it's good to have like an economical boundary that comes up with private label. You're able to have a low end and sell against a higher end product that you might have just as much margin or more, but has a higher ticket price. It gives you the opportunity to kind of peg against a product that you own, so you win-win on both situations. But you also can upsell into something else if there's a opportunity like that with a customer in a sale. So if you are a retailer and you're thinking about starting a private label, my suggestion would be, one, don't call it, whatever your name of your supplement shop is, X supplement shop supplements. Don't use the same name. Though you might believe, hey, I have all this trust, with my customers. Why not use my name? People will recognize it. People will know. What I found more times than not is if you don't have a lot of brand equity, and I'm talking a lot of brand equity, I think a lot of people overstate how much brand equity and how much clout they actually have in the market. But because of that, you want to have optionality within the product. So if you call it something that would look like a branded product, it gives you the opportunity, if it does very well, to scale it out to different customers, different sales channels. Think like the examples I use, MTS Nutrition, First Form, now they're kind of all over the place, but before they kind of just started in one space. There's no reason for you not to be able to do kind of very similar things. By me saying that, I want to pull back the reins a little bit and explain to you that more times than not, especially if you're not aware of just how to build these things and build a business that is a consumer packaged good business, not a retail business, you need to pump your brakes a little bit and focus on singles and doubles and not focus on home runs. So I told you all those things about all these grand ideas about scaling it out and going to different channels. Odds are that's not going to happen. So you need to focus on singles and doubles. How do you create value for your customers and create value for yourself by making a private label? Keys to do this. One, you have a bunch of purchasing data. You have a bunch of customer data, I would assume, if you are running a retailer. You know what people are buying. You know what price points they're buying. You know the frequencies. So use that customer data. Figure out a couple products that are selling the best and the flavors that sell the best. Take that to a contract manufacturer, a smaller contract manufacturer. There's a ton of them out there. One that gets a little bit of hate from the industry because of the running ads, NutriCap Labs. Really good place to start your private label. Take that, give it to them, make them reverse engineer these best-selling products, in the flavors that you think are going to sell best and they think they can execute the best on. If you have some space left in your pricing and your margins, depending on your purchasing ability and all the kinds of other things you need to think about, maybe you add some incremental innovations. Maybe you add a couple bells and whistles to stand out against the top seller. And then outside of just the product, you think about holistically, how do you ensure this is going to be a success? Look at your creative output from a label, brand composition, colors, all that kind of stuff. Like, look at what's on your shelf and make sure you can create something as good of these products so they can stand up against them on your shelves. And then finally, don't forget the things that are selling the products that are in your store. Things like really good flavor, really nice composed labels, a price point that's effective, categories and products that sell through and are easy for a customer to pick up and try, and all these different things you need to think about. When you're creating something new, sometimes people get outside of their norm. They want to kind of think outside the box. They want to kind of think these grand ideas, and I'm going to suggest not to do that. I'm going to suggest blocking and tackling, singles and doubles. Let's create some value for you. Let's not worry about the next home run. After you get some reps under you, go out and try something new. Try something bigger. Maybe if you have some extra business, things are going well, maybe you could go out there and take a bigger risk. But right now, I think the ideas I kind of presented to you has a much better chance of success for you and add value to your life as a physical retailer. Because as I said at the beginning of the video, you are in this highly competitive environment that a lot of people are struggling around you. This is just another tool in your tool belt that you could have to hopefully continue to stay in business, maybe even grow in this difficult environment. So I'm going to end this topic here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. If you guys did, I would appreciate the thumbs up button. It's right down below. It helps me out. It also helps YouTube out. They know you like the video. They'll spread this out to a lot of people that I don't know, and it'll help me grow my community a little bit bigger and a little bit stronger this year. If you guys haven't done it already, if you guys are a first-time watcher, hit the subscribe button. That would help me out. But I just want to thank you guys one last time for spending some time with me on this. Hopefully I gave you guys some value in return for that time, and I'll see you guys on the next video.